Judge Joe Brown's all-new barbecue sauce and seasoning. Justice in the form of flavor.
Law firms will take this as a retainer.
What? It must be a law firm where they hungry as hell. Now you gonna help me with this parole I'm dealing with?
Judge Joe Brown's all-new barbecue sauce and seasoning. Justice in the form of flavor. With one taste of our premium blends of all-natural ingredients, herbs, and spices, you'll fall in love with meat all over again. Judge Joe Brown's all-natural barbecue sauce collection is made up of 2 zesty flavors, original and spicy. There's only one way to bring order back to barbecuing. Just add Judge Joe Brown's all-natural barbecue sauce and seasoning, and you be the judge.
Remember that Al Green story?
Punk.
So what I want to do is have you tell the story from the beginning, not cut straight to the middle. From the beginning, and because it's I want you to tell it because it's a funny story about the.
You want me to do it now? The Black History
Al
Month?
Green.
Black History Month?
Yeah, go ahead.
Al Green did this, and I owe him for it. Now, he had this church he opened up in Memphis, still open, because he got called. And it's the gospel of song. So he can't talk. So he invites people in, and he pays them to speak to his congregation. So one day, I get an invite through my secretary, who knew his secretary. Judge, Al Green would like you to come preach to his church. So I said, okay. I show up, and he apologizes to me. He said, Judge Brown, my secretary, she forgot to sign the check. Okay. So I said, well, you can mail it. So I went ahead and I did his 11 o'clock services. Our congregation was on their feet, hollering and amening and everything. I gave them a good show. And when my secretary got with her friend, his secretary, she said, oh, we gave the Reverend cash. He coked it up. So I went and found him. I said, you owe me some money. So he said, Judge Brown, I'm so sorry. The check. I said, don't give me that mess about the check. We know what you did with it. Well, will you forgive me? If I just was thinking, if you come again, I'd ramp it up. So that's $5,000. I promise I'll have your money in cash. I said, yeah, and I'll report it to IRS, so there's no problem. 5,000. So I show back up to his church on a designated Sunday, and he hands me this envelope in his pulpit. He's got on his ecclesiastical robes, right? So I got this envelope that feels like cash in there. But these people are my constituents, and there's an election coming up in 1998. So I'm not going to embarrass my constituents and myself by opening the money up there in the pulpit and counting it and saying, oh, you didn't give me enough. I'm not going to do that. So I'm up there in his pulpit. I hear a commotion. He says, hey, excuse me, I have to attend to something back in pastor's chambers. So he goes out, and about 10, 15 minutes later, he comes back out. He doesn't have on any ecclesiastical robes, but let's start at the bottom. He's got on some red patent leather boots, a red suit, a red shirt, red tie, looking just like the devil he is in red, with a red pimp hat, with a fake fur coat down to his ankles. I'm going to leave my pulpit in Judge Brown's capable hands, but there's an immediate matter involving one of our members who's having a distressing moment. So he walks out of there. I do the 11 o'clock services. I get out to my car. I open the envelope. It's cut up notepaper. So over the intervening several decades, I've run into him several times in an airport. Negro, where is my money? And this fool literally turns around and runs, because I told him what I was going to do to him about my money. That's $5,000. In appreciating, that would be quite a bit more over the intervening. Let's say 1997. Let's say That's 3 plus 4. That's 27 years. That's a lot of interest and cost of living increase. The Negro owes me some money. So he's gotten too fat to run these days, and I'm gonna catch him. Now I'll put some voodoo on him. I'm going and see Mama Leclerc down on Bourbon Street in New Orleans. She got big hoodoo on you, you know. Hey, and I be the old big man.
Where did he go when he left the church?
Coked it up.
So why did he had to dress in all red with the fur? Like, what was that about? So he left in the middle of church.
He left me in his pulpit to run his services and then spiffed me on the money. He was wearing that red because he's going to hell. And he was showing where he was going.
Oh my God. And that's the Al Green story.
Negro better not come within 10 yards of me.
Well, he's still in Memphis, right?
Yeah, and he gotten fat as a hog. He can't move, so he don't want to run into me out there in the public.
Do you still want the money? Or
yeah, I want the money. I ain't gonna do that what I did and put my talents to work trying to inspire his congregation so his fool ass could coke up.
So why didn't you check the envelope when he handed it to you?
Because I'm standing in the pulpit and all of these people are constituents of mine, and there's an election coming up, which I won handily. I got every precinct in the whole county, which is the only time that's happened in a contested election since 1863 in Shelby County. And my opponent was the son of the owner of the Commercial Appeal, Channel 3, most of Channel 5, and a good chunk of Channel 13, and I whipped his ass. So anyway, got 280-some thousand votes in the process.
But you didn't
more
check
than the congressman.
So you stayed there, you did deliver discernment while he went on a coke run, and when you got in your car, you open it up and
it's cut up note paper.
Not $1.
Not one damn dollar. It's like, dude, like, hey, that's a diss. Like, that ain't
that's
even
why he
money.
got the hell up out of there.
That ain't even money, fool. That's principle. And your punk ass sitting up there, Al Green, punk.
Wait,
But I'm calling your punk ass out right here.
5,000, but then I guess he made sure that the envelope weighed the.
He had individual. Look, this fool had gone through and taken note paper and cut it up so it was a good approximation of a dollar bill.
Right.
And put the stuff in there like
so it felt like 5,000 in the envelope.
Yeah, it was the envelope as thick as it ought to be, wide as it ought to be, long as it ought to be. And he makes a great show of handing it to me in front of his congregation. And I'm not about to sit there in front of my congregation who wants to get a little bit of word on what to do so they don't go to hell and they can act appropriately. And he's sitting up there singing, I do gospel by song.
What did he sing?
No, that's all he does. He doesn't preach. He has to invite people in because he can't preach. He's a fake. He just got called.
Oh, so he just sings the sermon.
Sings. That's all he does at his service.
So what was he singing?
I don't know. He left me up there. He didn't do it. He changed into his pimp suit so he could go on and do what he was doing.
All right, so I have one more question about Al Green. Did you stop listening to his music after that?
Of course.
Does it piss you off when you do turn on the radio?
Yes, it does. And it shades, I'm a creature of my own experiences. It shades my opinion about celebrity status. And everybody loves Al Green, punk ass.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's a couple of Al Green songs that I like, but when you told me that story, I kind of, I hear the tunes differently.
Like you helped me fake out your congregation. That congregation comes and sits in your pews so they can perhaps escape going to hell for what they've been doing wrong. You sit there and you give them song, but you don't give them a message. All you're doing is pimping them. You're a pulpit pimp, boy.
And this was
You're
before.
fake.
This was before you were on TV.
Oh yeah,
So you were a big shot before you were even on TV.
that's how I got on TV.